To do her fourth speech from the advanced manual, Speaking to Inform. The objective of her speech is to prepare a fact-finding report. This morning, Michelle will share with us facts about guns. The title of her speech is The Reformed Gun Hater.
The Reformed Gun Hater.
Welcome, Michelle.
Where do you get your facts? Do you allow other people to make these determinations for you? Do we hear items and go, oh, okay, I'll believe that too? Or do we hear a speech like what Trace did a few months ago in reference to fluoride in our water? And I went directly to whatever sources I could find. I tend to want to know things for myself instead of just hearing them from others. And I believe that I'm in a room full of similar people. Well, I want to tell you that I am a reformed gun hater. A few weeks ago, Vice President Biden was on a TV talk show, and I caught the interview midway. But what killed me is I caught his reply. Somebody had called in and said, well, it was a woman, well, how are we supposed to defend ourselves? And they were clearly talking about the gun thing. And he just looked dead into the camera and he said, I'm going to tell you the same thing I told my wife. With a sincere look, I don't know if he has one, but the look kind of says, get that double-barrel shotgun, open up the front door, shoot 2 warning shots, nobody's going to bother you. I have 3 issues with that problem, with that solution. 1, it's illegal to shoot up in the air. I would have thought our vice president knew. 2, as a woman, it would knock me over. Has anybody here ever shot a double-barrel shotgun? Anybody? It's got quite of a punch, doesn't it? Is my understanding. I've never shot one, but it has quite of a punch. And 3, you're out of ammo!
Yes, that's what I thought.
Now what?
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Not a good solution. I understand that unfortunate incidences happen, and I do not want to take away from the severity of those incidences. But I truly do believe that a ban on assault rifles is not the way to go. Let's go back a few years. In the 80s, we had a lot of plane jackings. I don't know if you remember those, the terrorists. And I remember my mom was flying to Canada, and I cried until she landed. I made her promise, before cell phones obviously, she had to wait to drive an hour and a half to her sister's house to call me. I cried the entire time she was gone. I was convinced she was going to die. And it had nothing to do with the plane falling out of the air. It had to do with the hijackings. But what did they do? We're not going to not fly. That wasn't the problem. What they did is they made our airports safer. Now, whether or not you believe that full body scans are in fact safer, I believe that's a topic for Trace to uncover. That seems to be his type of a topic. Then we had vehicles. Cars in the 50s, 60s, 70s. They were tanks. Huge tanks. But do you know what they also realized? Traffic fatalities were going up because these cars were getting faster and faster. Who remembers the muscle cars? They're all built for speed. Measures had to be put in place. We weren't going to be taking away cars, and they were the problem. Instead, they made them safer. Through seatbelts, through education. I know that every student, when I was growing up, had to take driver's safety classes, and we had to take driver's ed and things like that. Now, that probably didn't solve the problem, but it made some of us a lot more aware. So through seatbelts, airbags, and safety classes, we were able to curb a problem. Now, I want to share with you, this is from the U.S. Census Bureau. And in year 2000, there were 39,836 deaths. That's in year 2000. No, that's in 1990, excuse me. Now, in 2009, there were 30,797 deaths. it is going down. That's almost a 25% decrease. So through education, through these safety measures, it does help. It's not completely solved, but it does help. Per 10,000 people per year for the population. This is the chart starting in the 1900s. And you see you've got a spike here, but these are your 60s and 70s right here. And then this is where we are today. We're at 1 per 10,000 people. So these safety measures are working. They are definitely working. Now, what do we do about violent crimes? Because this topic is supposed to be about guns. I went to the FBI's website, and in 2007, they had reported, of all the agencies that had reported, this is through the FBI, 14,916 violent crimes. Now, of those, 10,000 or 7,000 plus were of handguns, and 400, hold on a second, I can't read it up. 453 were from rifles. Out of the 14,000 violent crime deaths, which includes a lot of things, which includes explosive, which includes, I found it very interesting that personal weapons. Now, I understand these are not deadly weapons. Not for me anyway. Bruce Lee, definitely. Me, no. But fists and feet are double the amount of rifle deaths in the United States. They came in at 869, and rifles came in at 453. So when we're talking about a ban on AR, we're talking about 2.5% of deaths that occur by rifle. So what can we do? We can have owner classes. I actually attended my first class a few weeks ago. Petrified. That, you know, they did a great job of understanding gun control and also gun laws as well. And I learned so much. I actually learned more than I wanted to learn, quite honestly. All I wanted to do was learn to shoot and not freak out. We're not there yet, but I'm working on it. Personal responsibility. Our house, we have a safe. That was the rule. That was my rule. There is one reform I would like to see, and that's on the secondary market. If you buy any type of a rifle or a weapon, that needs to go through a federal firearms license dealer. And there is paperwork to fill out. But on the secondary market, if I wanted to shoot my Wallaby to Nell, I could just sign it over to her. That's it. There's money exchange of hands. There's no other paperwork involved. I would like to see change in that market. As far as schools, there are plenty of other things that we can do. We can have lockdowns as far as classrooms secure. We can have safety officers. There's a lot of things to consider as opposed to a ban on rifles. My purpose today was to bring you information in reference to really the numbers that are involved. It's such a small percentage of people that own these rifles, or people that do harm with these rifles. Let me share with you, this is a quarterly magazine, and it's all about AR-15s. The cover of this magazine, you have to buy. And Daniel Defense, which is an AR manufacturing company, purchased the cover of this magazine. I'm sure that was done probably a year in advance. What the magazine wanted to do was to have kind of a showdown of all the different manufacturers, and they took it through many levels of competition. For those of you who don't know, my husband works for Spikes Tactical, and they manufacture ARs. That is their sole business. What happened is Spikes Tactical won every competition that this magazine put it through, the owners of this magazine put it through. And what ended up happening is they refunded the money to Daniel Defense. And this is Spikes Tactical 300 Blackout. And it's here for free. They were so impressed with the precision and the distance of shooting this rifle, and it outperformed everything else. Not only is it on the cover, but it has a 5-page spread in the center of all of the good things that this rifle does. It's so important to inform ourselves when we come to this fork in the road. because there are decisions that will be made, and I do hope that you, in fact, can inform yourself. And I want to leave you with this one thought. I am a reformed gun hater, and I've come to the conclusion that putting a ban on these rifles is about as bright as if I believe that the nation's population is too high, would I go through self-castration just because my neighbor has too many kids? It just doesn't make any sense. It just doesn't make any sense. So I do have something for you today. For anybody who also loves Starbucks, Spikes Tactical has created these bumper stickers.
It's upside down.
Is it?
There you
Well,
go.
that's not going to.
I heard guns and clocks.
Oh my.
You guys may have one to share if you don't want it for yourself, but thank you very much, and I hope that it's given you